A couple of days ago, Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic, came out with a video describing his frustration with the recent copyright abuse that's been occurring like a plague on YouTube. His own account was apparently hit with a false copyright claim that took away monetization rights for his entire channel. I didn't even think that that was possible the way that YouTube ran things, but this would not be the first time they have supported false copyright claims. The Nostalgia Critic explains fair use in better detail than what I can do off the top of my head in his own video, so I'll leave a link to that in the description below. For years, content creators like myself have been using YouTube as a place to vent our opinions regarding movies, or video games, or what have you. Fair use is what allows us to use footage from movies, or games, or music, or what have you, in order to illustrate what disagreements we may have, or to point out things that are done well. It's not all negative. I mean, I've had plenty of positive reviews myself. I know hundreds of others out there have as well. But exceedingly narrow-minded companies out there don't care about that. They'll willingly violate copyright law, knowing that they're violating copyright law, just in order to protect their property. It comes down to the point where if you even use 1 second of footage, or sometimes if you even talk about a certain thing, then they'll have something blocked, or put a copyright claim on it, or just try to delete it entirely. I'll grant there are situations in which companies would actually have to take action in order to protect their property. If someone uploads an entire episode of a show or an entire movie to YouTube, that's fine. They have every right to try to take that down because that's not fair use. But a guy making a 20-minute review using 15 minutes of footage from a 2-hour movie is not in the same category as uploading the entire movie. But companies like to treat it like it is. You don't even have to have any actual footage from a game or a movie or anything like that in order to get hit with a copyright claim. Any jackass who wants to can just put a claim on your video for whatever arbitrary reason, and there's no repercussion. There are no fines, there's no jail time, there's barely even public criticism against it. Case in point, one of my series is called The Rogue Reviews. That's where I go to the movie and then I stand in front of a camera very much like I am right now and talk about what I saw. One of my videos, actually no, 2 of my videos have been flagged for copyright claims, doing just that. There was absolutely 0 seconds of copyrighted material within that entire review. Still got flagged. I still can't get any ad revenue off of those videos. Now there is an overcomplicated process that content creators can use in order to get those claims and copyright strikes refuted, and it is such a mess. First step, file a dispute. Just going with my own cases, let's say movie footage. If I want to dispute something like I am right now, thank you Warner Brothers, then I have to go on my video, I have to dispute a claim, I have to say I'm using this footage under fair use, and that gets sent back to the guy making the claim against me. They then have 30 days to respond. They can either agree, say, oh, our mistake, here's your video back, or they can say, fuck you, and maintain the claim on it. A lot of the times, they don't even bother responding. Or if they do, they respond after 29 days and reinstate the claim. This is called a douchebag move. From there, it goes to the appeals process. I basically do the same thing, only I have to fill out more information explaining what I'm doing, explaining that everything I'm doing is in fact legal, and then explaining in several boxes how it applies within the doctrines of fair use, and then again, send that to the guy making the claim. Again, same situations, 30 days, they can either spit it back or release the claim. More times than not, if it gets to this point, they just wait the 30 days to try to aggravate me. And I'm not kidding about that. In some claims, the way that they can process this, they will be able to make money off of my videos, my hard work, and I will never see that money again. That is why they drag this out as long as they possibly can. Because if they fill in certain boxes, they get to make more money for no effort, which is literally illegal. However, if they do decide to shoot everything back at me after the appeals process, I get hit with a copyright strike, which basically not quite shuts down my channel, but limits a lot of what I can do. No videos over 15 minutes, no custom thumbnails, and a small list of other issues. But what if this is done maliciously? What if this is done by a company that knows that they're in the wrong, but don't care? Nothing! Literally nothing happens. Unless I take them to small claims court, which I've yet to ever do, I will never get that production time back. And it's not just that it's done by these overzealous companies trying to protect their property and knowingly violating copyright law. A lot of the times what they'll do is they'll hire overseas companies in order to protect or cite these false claims. I have been hit a number of times by the same assholes knowingly violating copyright law in the US, but because they're based in Europe, we can't do anything to them. These are third-party companies that are built in order to make malicious, false copyright claims on behalf of first-party companies. Lionsgate, Paramount, Universal. I've been hit by all of them. And I can't do a goddamn thing about it. No one in the United States cares about enforcing copyright law. Not legally. Not the people who matter. And it's getting to the point where you don't even have to actually violate copyright law. You don't actually have to use someone else's footage to get hit by something. The example I mentioned earlier where I had the rogue reviews that were hit, two of them. They were both reviewing the movie Insurgent. Both got hit, and I went through the claims process trying to say, hey, let me monetize these videos because you're not letting me monetize the other videos from the book was better. Eventually, the robot I was talking to turned into a human. I don't even know when. But apparently, the reason they would not let me monetize the video was because the thumbnail I was using was considered copyrighted. What the fuck is that? My final response to them was, okay, if I change the thumbnail, will you let me monetize the video? YouTube never got back to me on that. I've tried playing around with it since, but obviously, that didn't do anything. There's another example. If you're a fan of Pokemon Bridged, then you're familiar with No Whacking. She got hit by a false copyright claim by Sony because of a parody song that she made mocking the song All About That Bass, which No Whacking called All About That Bass canon. They didn't even use the original instrumental version from the original song. She apparently found somebody to compose an entirely new score for the song, used that score, and then someone at Sony decided, hey, this is too similar to our stuff, we're taking your money. And it's gotten to the point where if Sony decides to reject her appeal, the only way she can get that video back is if she goes to court, or at least risks going to court. That's the step after appeals. You go out there, chest forward saying, sue me, motherfucker! That's a situation no copyright creator should ever have to be in. Not when they're innocent. Now, I'm losing money on my Polar Express review right now because Warner Brothers, someone at Warner Brothers, decided to mark it with a copyright claim. Originally, the video was blocked worldwide. Fortunately, it's up now because I'm fighting it, but I'm not making any money off of it. And this hobby's expensive. I have more than doubled, probably tripled, my library since I started doing this. And then there are all the DVDs I have to buy. I don't just have a subscription with Netflix. I don't just buy DVDs and then rip them. I actually buy the DVDs in order to support whatever I'm tearing apart. Yes, that includes Twilight. That's how I view these things. I might be tearing apart whatever I'm reviewing, but at least I'm giving them something. I'm not just ripping a DVD that I found on the street. I'm actually buying these things. I've seen a lot of these videos complaining about YouTube's practices, and a lot of them will say that the YouTube copyright system treats people like they're guilty until proven innocent. I disagree. Innocent assumes that eventually the harassment will stop. The way that YouTube's copyright system currently works is any jackass can come in, put a claim or a strike on one of my videos for whatever reason. They don't even have to remotely come close to owning it. And I can go through the entire process, even going up to court, saying, no, I have every right to do this, you can't stop me. A week can go by and they can just do the whole thing all over again. One of the most egregious violations I have ever put up with was with my Time Traveler's Wife review. In that, I ended the episode with not the original Doctor Who theme, but a fan-made remix that I got off of YouTube. Immediately, that was hit by a copyright claim. 2 were from the BBC. The third was from a group called The Orchard. Within a week, the BBC saw my claim, reviewed it, and allowed me to continue with the video. The Orchard did not. They waited 29 days before rejecting the dispute. So I went to the appeals process. Again, the BBC, cool as they are, said, go right ahead with what you're doing. The Orchard did not. After another 29 days, they rejected the appeal, even though, after researching everything I could about them, they do not have any legal standing to claim copyright on the Doctor Who theme song. Keep in mind, I'm not using the original Doctor Who theme song. This was a fan-made remix. That resulted in a strike, which had immediate repercussions for my channel, even though I had done nothing wrong, and the actual copyright holders, the BBC, said I was okay. Twice! I had to call the Orchard, explain what they were doing was illegal, and since they were based in the United States, not in Europe, they were actually subject to copyright law. So when I threatened to sue them, they dropped their case. My strike was removed, I didn't have any of the penalties on me after that, and thank God for it. Because if you have a copyright strike on you, and the person making the strike doesn't want to drop it, it takes 6 months for it to go away on its own. Every single time I upload a video, it doesn't matter what it is, it can be an update video, there is always that nagging bit of fear in the back of my head. How much copyright bullshit am I going to have to put up with? I'll go to Twitter, I'll go to Facebook. Pending copyright bullshit, the next video will be up in the next day or two. I would love nothing more than to work on my show professionally. Just sit at home, read books, and make fun of movies. But because YouTube's copyright system is as flawed as it is, I can't risk that. And my channel's not one of the big ones. But because of the way YouTube runs its copyright system and hands the reins to the jackasses making false claims with no repercussions, I can't risk that. I mean, this is functionally the same thing as a murderer going to court, having the judge ask him if he's guilty or innocent, having the criminal say he's innocent, and then having the judge just let him go without a trial. But I'm not just here to complain about a clearly broken system that everyone knows is broken. There are solutions we can make. Doug Walker suggested that putting any money that's generated during a copyright claim be put into a third-party account and then given to the content creator or the copyright holder when the decision was made. Doug's suggestion is a good starting point for taking away some of the incentives for making false copyright claims. The way that the system works now, anyone can make a claim on whatever popular video they want to, take the money from the first couple of days, which is when most videos are at their most successful, and then just walk away. I want to actually fine people. I haven't worked out the math, so I don't know if we're going to do it based on the number of views a video gets, or if it's a flat fine per offense. But I'm thinking something like, I'm just throwing numbers out here, $10,000 for every false claim. If a content creator is using footage in accordance to fair use, and a copyright holder wants to come by and make a claim against them, and they're found to be wrong, they get fined. And maybe there can be some sort of a step program. The more false claims you make, the more the fine goes up. Maybe eventually someone gets jail time. I don't know. These are just ideas I'm throwing out. Quite frankly, some of these assholes could use some jail time. YouTube does not have to be a bad place. I have grown so much as a writer and an editor. My starting videos look nothing like what I'm doing right now. I have new equipment. I'm spending more and more money on the show. I'm trying to build a bigger fan base. But because of the way that everything is run, I have to take time out of my day in order to fight false copyright claims. If YouTube won't do something about this, then I can only hope that someone who knows a lot more about programming than I do makes a competing website that actually succeeds. Something that actually upholds copyright law. And before anyone points it out, yes, I am a dreamer. YouTube doesn't have to suck. It can be a place where incredibly talented people can come out and make all sorts of awesome music and movies and stories and reviews and comedy and what have you. But if YouTube keeps running itself into the dirt the way that it is, people are going to start hating it. And it's just going to become like another facet of Hollywood, just churning out garbage that people quickly become disinterested in. And then people will move to the next thing. It has happened thousands of times before. Don't think it won't happen this time. I'm Kyle Martin. I play the part of Crimson Rogue on the review show The Book Was Better, and I also host the shows Uncovered Gems, Rogue Reviews, and From Crimson's Library. And I want to know, where's the fair use?